It's the 15th annual Denny Palmer Memorial Walleye Classic. Travis Coffey is with us. And if the name Travis Coffey sounds at all familiar, you might remember Travis winning the 2025 Mobridge ice fishing tournament.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good.
Welcome. Good to see you all the way from Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Hunter on from Bismarck, so I think we've got quite a few represented from different states, and now 75 teams. I think a week ago or just a few days ago, it was 62, 63 teams. So
yeah, that's about where it's normally at.
Yeah, we put a plead out there, not a plead. We appealed to everybody's senses to get their poop in a group and get signed up and get ready to go because the fish are biting. Have you been practicing?
Yeah, I've been here since Monday.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah.
I'm guessing without giving up too information because we got to keep our secrets.
Yeah, no, there's secrets for sure, but it's not as good as I was hoping it was going to be compared to the pre-fish we had for the MWC.
Oh yeah, but it was a little different time though.
Yeah, a little bit earlier and some changes in weather and had a couple big winds before I got up here this time. So
and colder weather again. So I think some of the fish are sliding out a little bit deeper. Maybe we're dealing with smelt and a lot of smelt.
There's a lot more smelt than what there has been. The herring are still a big player for the big fish for sure, but trying to kind of decipher both of those.
Yeah,
on the graph and figure out where you want to fish is the hard thing. And
that's a part of fishing, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it really is. So are you going to use the same bait? Or are you going to rely on the same thing as the ice tournament?
It has been a player this week.
Yeah. Okay. So we would expect it to be,
yeah.
I guess it's really, it's not a huge secret. Can we say it's the Berkeley finisher, right?
Yeah.
But we're not going to give away the secret color. Are you doing just the stock colors? Nothing custom, nothing crazy. So you're doing everything, everything by the package, so to speak.
Yeah.
Which, I guess I would expect that. How heavy do you think the fish have to be to win this tournament tomorrow?
I guess it'd probably be between 27, 28 to 30 pounds is probably going to be.
I honestly, it really when you think about it, for the fact that Joe, Matt, Mitch, and Jace caught two 10-pounders today, one 10, one almost 11. They were 32 inches, so not big fat ones, but they weighed.
They're still skinny after the spawn. I mean, you can tell that they're eating, but they're not.
Right.
They're not full yet.
Right. And you've got 3 people in the boat, so you can catch 3 big ones. You can only keep 2 big ones.
Yeah.
But there's 20 pounds right there, right?
Yeah. And if you get the good unders to go with it, it's 30 pounds is pretty achievable.
Right.
So
yeah. And really, for the conversations I've had with quite a few anglers, I guess that 27 to 30 pounds is not out of the realm because there's some guys that had some doggone good practice days.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, kind of what I've been at least expecting. The MWC had 25-pound plus bags off 5 fish, and I think Dewey and Tyson had 27 on the final day. So
it's honestly, it's going to take something special to get to 30.
Yeah,
right? That 25 to 27, probably going to be 1 or 2 teams that do that.
Yeah.
If somebody comes in with that 14-pound
one giant fish can make a big difference.
It can make a huge difference. And we heard about a 14-pounder caught today. So they're out there. They can be caught. Max Wilson caught one. So it can be done. Yeah. And that extra 4 pounds, there you go, 31 pounds.
Yeah. Well, and it makes the second over easier to keep too. That's a 9 or a 10-pounder or even an 8-pounder when you have a 12 or better.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got Mike and Brad in the boat. To me, 3 people fishing is one too many.
What
do you have for a boat?
219 Pro V.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't want to call it a smaller boat, but there are a lot of guys with the 21s, a few with the 22s. So, but 3 people, your thoughts on the 3 people in the boat?
It's a necessity for a tournament like this,
Well, so because you have one day and you got to catch big fish because somebody's going to do it.
Well,
right?
having the kind of bonus extra over to go into the live well is a huge help. It makes the decisions much easier.
Easier.
Yeah. I wouldn't say much easier, but it's
you can afford to let one put a 28 or 29. You're right.
Right. Just something to guarantee that you have one, or 2.
Right.
But So yeah, I mean, it makes it a little bit easier on deciding which fish are going to go back and that type of thing. But it just kind of depends, how you're fishing. Like, it's nice to have 6 rods when you're trolling.
True.
Yeah,
well, the more rods you have, the more bait in the water, the more chance you have to catch fish. So it does make sense. But for me, whenever I fish with 3 people on a boat, it's just tight, right?
Oh yeah.
But here again, if you're tuned into what you're doing, and you, obviously the 3 of you have fish tournaments before, and it's not like it's detrimental.
No, we've got a pretty good system, as far as kind of everybody's role when things happen, and especially when the wind's blowing, it's easier for me to have 2 guys that take care of everything, and I just run the boat and
which in that regard, I especially if it's a windy day, that boat control can be so important. You're obviously going to do some scoping, right? I mean, that's just
maybe
part of it.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm guessing most everybody is. I don't know how many boats are out there without live sonar in them.
You see a lot of them everywhere.
Right.
They're shallow pulling bouncers. There's guys that run them when they crank. There's obviously the scopers, and they're pretty obvious because they're not moving and everybody's looking down. But
spot locked and fishing. Well, there are a lot of places holding fish. I think we're going to see a fair amount of guys go south. I don't know. Have you thought about that going as far as the Morrow or?
Yeah. I don't know. I've pretty much hit everything that I did a couple of weeks ago in practice. I've been north of town. I've been south of town, and everywhere in between.
All right.
And I think I kind of have my mind made up on what we're going to do tomorrow, but it's still maybe, depending on what the morning looks like and what the wind's doing, it might change. But
right. Well, that's altogether possible. Yeah. Somebody said the other day it was 85 degrees in eastern South Dakota, and then it was 47 in the morning, and it was 57 later in the day. Well, that's why we live in South Dakota. Bull crap. I'm not here because we go from 47 to 87. No.
We've had some swings this week.
Yeah, we have had weird weather. Yeah. And I think it plays into it. The good thing, we've got some low pressure. The bite's on. I don't know how much the weather's going to change tomorrow. I don't think it's a dramatic change.
No, I just hopefully it stays consistent. I mean,
right. And that's
more than anything where it doesn't get cooler. Or I suppose if it warmed up, it probably wouldn't hurt anything. But
very true.
We don't want a big wind to make it warm or big wind to cool it off. So.
Yeah, I agree. So, well, you won the Mobridge ice fishing tournament this year. So now winning the Denny would be
that's the goal.
That would be the goal. What would be the trifecta? What would be the triple crown thing? If you what's the next tournament?
I don't know.
Then?
I think if we go back to back in the 2 Mobridge tournaments, I might just quit fishing tournaments.
Well, for the year. Don't quit completely.
Yeah.
All right, from Nebraska, it's Travis Coffey here, the 15th annual Denny Palmer Memorial Walleye Classic in Mobridge, South Dakota.